everyone. Welcome to Life Odysseys. I'm Bobby. That's my sidekick, Maggie. We're here today. We're going to talk about some racing, do some stuff around the farm. You just never know what we're going to get into. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's get into it and see if we can mess something up, fix something, or don't do anything. Who cares? Let's get going. Let's go, Maggie. Yeah, I bought this chipper about a month or so ago off of Metmax, and for the money, it does a really good job. So I'm going to take a few minutes and chip some of this brush I got laying here that I trimmed a tree, and I'll just show you how it works. I may speed up the footage or leave it normal, I don't know. Safety first. I want to talk a little bit more about racing. My career started in mid of 1988. And I remember before I started driving, talked to my dad about starting racing again because we'd been out of racing for a while. And the only thing he said was, "I don't care, boys." He said, "But I'm telling you right now, if you miss a race, we're done." So we wasn't allowed to miss a race. We had to make every single one, and it didn't matter what would happen. We just had to be there. We had to be ready to be there. That's all there was to it. So yeah, he was pretty strict on those kind of things, and the way the car looked and how you went about doing it. If for 1 minute you even hinted the idea that you didn't want to do something or whatever, that didn't work for him. He'd always say, "If you don't want to do it, let it go. I'll do it." It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. So 1988, as I repeated or said before, Larry Moore had started out in 1988 driving the car. By July 1st, Larry was gone and I was in the seat. So my first race was at Kilcare, and as I mentioned before, I thought, well, I'm really setting the world on fire. I wasn't going anywhere. So I ran a few races, like the fourth race was Pocono. Then we went to Talladega. And then the short tracks, like in Delaware up in Canada. Well, I learned the hard way that if you didn't get going, they was going to beat on your back bumper till it was gone. And that's pretty much what happened in Delaware. They beat and banged on me. So I had to learn pretty quick to either get with the program or get out of the way. So that's kind of where that started. Then we, Flat Rock, Michigan. Actually, I'll talk about it later, but that's where I got my first ARCA win, was at Flat Rock, 1990. but went to Flat Rock in '88, and still had trouble. It was a rough go. Don't remember where I qualified, but in the heat race, I got in somebody's oil and crashed. So it was a do not start. We loaded up and went home. And a few of those things happened during the summer, like at Springfield, Illinois on the mild dirt. We had engine issues in practice, and we couldn't start. So DuQuoin, I think we ran the whole race at DuQuoin. I'll have to go through and get the stats on where I finished in those races. You're talking starting to be a few years ago. But as time went on, I started gaining experience. And then in the fall, we went to Salem, Indiana, which is a high bank track like Winchester or Bristol. And back then, ARCA ran 500 lap races there. And man, I'm telling you, we made our own racing seats. Gary basically made it. Bless his heart. I know, the workmanship was great, but the comfort level was horrible. I couldn't even get out of that damn thing after 500 laps. I had to have help get out of it because my back hurt so bad. It was torture. It was torture. And then not being used to it and in shape, I remember getting Charlie horses like during caution laps. And you talking about a deal there. You know how it is to have a Charlie horse. You usually get up and run around, try to walk it off. We shoot when you're strapped to that seat, you can't do nothing. So I think I'm pretty sure we ran third that day in that 500 lapper at Salem. But then, we go to Atlanta in '88. And that was another super speedway I hadn't been on. Well, I was having trouble getting up to good times. And during qualifying, the head of ARCA come over to me. I was in line on the pit road to go out to qualify. And he reaches in the window and he says, now listen, don't go out there and bust your ass because you're in the show, basically on a provisional. He said, whatever you do, don't go out there and bust your ass because you're in. So I went out there and didn't bust my ass. Well, first thing Dad asked me when I come in, he said, what was the matter? What happened? I said, well, they come up to me on pit road and told me not to go out there and bust my ass because we was in the show. Well, lo and behold, come time to put the lineup out there, we wasn't on it. Oh my goodness. Dad was hot. So he went to the ARCA trailer to talk about it. There wasn't no talking to them about it. It's the way it was and the way it was going to be. We just got screwed. Simple as that. So we didn't get to start there. So we had to watch the race from the infield. So yeah, during the 1988 season, it was a rough go, especially for somebody that has never drove a race car. I jumped in that seat and took on the role, and I had to learn as I go. Now I listened, my mouth was always shut and my ears was always open, because when Dad or Gary ever spoke and told me any advice or whatever, my ears was open and my mouth stayed shut because I didn't know. And it took me a while to know. So the advice I was getting was golden. Never questioned it, just did it. And even back at the shop, there were certain things that you think you shouldn't do this way or do that way. But it came right down to it. And Dad, he passed away in 2006. But Dad was a smart man. So you took everything that he knew and you ran with it. And I'll never forget, he told me, he says, now listen, if you just take 70% of what I teach you and you add to it, you'll be way smarter than I ever thought about being. Now, I never claimed that I was smarter than he was, but he was right in what he was saying. You got to take what they give you and go with it and learn with it. And that's what I did. So after we got done with the 1988 season, we was building a new car, got a new car ready to go. Actually, I got to back up. In February of '88, when Larry Moore was driving, he crashed our super speedway car. So between that time, it sit pretty much all summer because we was busy racing and everything. In the fall, we got back on it, got it fixed, and that's the car that we took to Daytona, February of 1989, which would have been my first start in Daytona. Not really going to get into too much of that in this video. I'm going to save that for another video. But I just wanted to clarify and explain a few things about the 1988 season. Sure, there's a lot more to it than I can tell. But, money was tight. Money was real tight. And you had to, and for me, I always had to be careful, especially in the early days. It never really ended my whole career, but in the early days, I had to finish. And I couldn't tear up stuff. And we got to get the best finish we possibly can to get out of there and try to make a little bit of money. Because, you got the tire bill you got to pay for, this and that, fuel and everything to get there and back. Pay to have people come in and help you, their pit passes and so on. But yeah, and there again, we had some loyal people that helped us. Really good people. But then there was some, they just wanted to go for the glory, I'll never forget, Gary said every time we go to Daytona, you'd have to charter a bus to take everybody that wanted to go. But then after Daytona, ain't nobody shows up until the next February. Well, it's wintertime up here in Ohio, which I'm in Kentucky now, but I wasn't then. Everybody wants to go to Florida in the sunshine and hang out at the racetrack. Well, it didn't take us long to weed them people out, But the loyal people, they was good help. Now, I could have never done it without them. There's too many of them to try to mention. But anyways, I think this will do it for this video. If you would, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. And I'll get back to you and answer them, or whatever you'd like to do. So until next time, keep your wheels on the ground and your top up in the air. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.